What's up, guys? Welcome back to DCA. Today, what we're going to do is take a look at the altcoin market. We're going to look at the altcoin market with respect to both Ethereum and Bitcoin, and we're going to show a few models that I've made, which will sort of help you determine when the market cycle may be coming to a peak. Okay. And the altcoins are actually great for identifying that. And that's because the public is typically FOMOing in to altcoins at the end of the market cycle. There's also some of these indicators will point out when are the best times to be getting into altcoins, because when Bitcoin is moving up rapidly with respect to the altcoin market, especially in the setting of a bull run, that typically tends to be the best time to start moving into the altcoins, as we saw in, around January of this year. So just to quickly review what we talked about yesterday, this is Ethereum with respect to the altcoin market. And we said that basically from the end of 2017, leading up to the end of the market cycle in January of 2018, Ethereum was in a long downtrend with respect to the altcoin market, which sort of reversed sometime in May, beginning of May 2019. So since that time, we've essentially been in a long-term uptrend with respect to the altcoin market. So you can see when this line is going up, that means Ethereum is gaining with respect to the general altcoin market. Okay, so this total three excludes Ethereum and Bitcoin. So it's the total market cap of all of the other altcoins. Okay, the top altcoins. So we've been in this uptrend, and you can see when in January and February, Ethereum actually had a significant spike, or became overvalued with respect to the rest of the altcoin market. And sure enough, once we reached up to this 90 level, it came down hard. So the altcoins rallied hard against Ethereum once we got here. Okay. Now, this, on the other hand, is Bitcoin with respect to the altcoin market. So now, if you recall, Ethereum became overvalued with respect to the altcoin market and became most overvalued in February. Okay. Whereas Bitcoin became most overvalued with respect to the altcoin market in January. So it went Bitcoin, then Ethereum became overvalued with respect to the other alts, and then finally the other altcoins. Okay, so it was sort of sequential in almost how you would expect it to occur. So Bitcoin goes first. As we've said many times on this channel, we always talk about you want to have a core position in Bitcoin and then start moving it into Ethereum and then some of the altcoins. And, this sort of demonstrates that clearly. So as here we're looking at Ethereum again. As Ethereum reaches a peak in February, with respect to the altcoins, that is, and it reaches a peak on the DCA index model, then it starts to bleed. So when this is going down, that means you would have been better. You would have had higher returns being invested in just the general altcoin market. And same thing with Bitcoin. Once we reach this peak in January, you would have been better served being in the altcoin market. Okay. You'll notice here that basically from January of 2018 until about March of 2021, we were in a long uptrend with respect to the altcoin market. So making higher highs, making higher lows. And then in March, the altcoins just really took off and broke right through this long-term trend line that we had been above. And that's exactly to be expected. We've said all along, when when the market really gets going, the altcoins are going to take off and they're going to move hard against Bitcoin. And that's exactly what we saw here in March. And now we're right along this 0.93 level, and we've been holding this as support. And you'll notice that at the end of the last market cycle, we were sort of at the same level. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the market cycle is over. We came down and held this support level, which we're doing, they almost look like mirror images of one another with respect to this this fall after the end of the market cycle. The difference being is that you have altcoins with actual use cases now that are, actually creating value. You didn't have a lot of that back in 2017. So this I almost sort of expect, and I don't know that I would be surprised if this trend continued and we actually were to start to go below this blue line, because when you have things with actually creating value, then they're clearly worth more than just people speculating on other coins that aren't Bitcoin. Now there's a reason to be speculating on these other coins. Okay, so this is the total crypto market cap versus Ethereum. All right, and here we have the DCA index for the altcoin market with respect to Ethereum. And the first thing you'll notice here is that, back in 2017, the altcoin market was really on this uptrend with respect to Ethereum. So this is the total crypto market cap with respect to Ethereum. It's basically the inverse of what we showed with Ethereum to the total crypto market cap. And, it just depends on how you prefer to look at it. So this is the DCA index for the alt ETH market. And you'll notice that basically the relationship between the altcoins and Ethereum is quite high. There's a high correlation coefficient between the altcoin market and Ethereum. Okay, so it lives in this 30 to 65 zone. When it peaks out of this long downtrend, like it did here, you usually have a correction. So in other words, the altcoin market bleeds with respect to Ethereum. And it's been doing that basically since November of 2018. It's been bleeding with respect to Ethereum. Now, when this occurred here in January of 2021, that would have been a great signal to tell you, hey, the altcoins are severely undervalued in general with respect to Ethereum and likely with respect to Bitcoin. And so you could start moving some of your Ethereum position into the altcoins. Okay, so it's definitely gained with respect to Ethereum since January. And when we reached this nearly, we got down all the way to about 3. So we reached 3 right here on February 3rd. When it got down to a value of 3, you could have went hard into the altcoins. Obviously it all depends on which altcoin. So, you sort of have to keep that in mind. This is a general altcoin market indicator, but in general, moving out of Ethereum into the altcoins, whichever you prefer, would have been better at this time. Now, like I said before, that doesn't mean any altcoin, because some altcoins have been outperformed by Ethereum. It just indicates that in general, the altcoins would outperform Ethereum. Okay, so we just looked at the total crypto market cap with respect to Ethereum. Now we're going to look at the total crypto market cap with respect to Bitcoin. And this is an indicator I've made, which is very good at identifying when the market cycle is coming to an end. And that is indicated by the Fomo phase. Okay, so the Fomo phase generally occurred from March until May, until the second week of May. And back in 2018, it occurred basically in December. People started FOMOing in hard in December. So you can see the altcoin market, you could maybe even make an argument that back to November, but Bitcoin lost a lot of ground with respect to altcoins. Then there was a sell-off, and then a giant FOMO phase occurred again in December. But essentially, when the altcoins reach this peak, you can pretty much tell the market cycle is coming to an end. So this is retail dumb money just trying to buy any crypto that they can and driving the prices up of absolute garbage. I'm sure you can think of 10 different coins that, from this point in about the end of March, basically through the second week of May, became extraordinarily overvalued and had absolutely no use case. But I mean, there's just things where people are literally making a coin just to make money, and people are driving the price up hundreds of thousands of percent, if not more. Something you'll notice, we hit this peak. So we came down, hit this level here, and then came back up to around this 25 level. All right. Once we did that, then we dropped back down and the market cycle was over. We've actually done that again. We've made that same exact pattern. But as I said before, for a few reasons, which I'll lay out now, I don't necessarily believe that this indicates the market cycle is over. So the first thing you'll note is we made a market cycle peak. The alts rallied with respect to Bitcoin, but still never got back to that prior high. Then came down, attempted a rally again, and then just, broke through. And we didn't get above that level until May of 2020. Okay, so we actually broke through this level in May of 2020. We actually broke through it again in December when Bitcoin really started rallying, and didn't get above that level until the end of January. So right before we said that all the other indicators indicated that the altcoins were severely undervalued. So December through February. From there, we started to just take off the altcoins. I mean, look at this. The altcoins went from around a quarter of the Bitcoin valuation all the way up to 1. It was about 1-to-1, the altcoin market to the Bitcoin market. When the altcoin market becomes as valued as the Bitcoin market, things tend to retract. Now, I think it will be interesting. As I've said, there's many use cases and many value creating coins now that didn't exist back here. So in general, I think that we may see a longer term uptrend. Now, I just want to show, so we broke through this hyper, you call it a hyper accumulation phase in May when the market cycle crashed. Then we formed another uptrend and we came through that in October. All right, sort of right when we hit this peak, and then came right through it in October. Now we have been yet again forming a new uptrend. Okay, so and this is sort of why drawing trend lines can be, somewhat dubious. And, now we're forming, so basically on two levels, we're forming an uptrend. So a more macro level uptrend extending back to late December or early January. And now this new uptrend where we've made a higher high, albeit it was a very anemic higher high. So this will be important to watch and to, see if we can continue this uptrend. And, every time you start forming an uptrend, it doesn't need to be a massive move right at the start. But we definitely would like to, it's going to be obviously tougher to hold this line that we started forming in January of last year. But, this trend line here will certainly be easier to hold. Now, I also don't want to discount the fact that we could see a complete repeat of what we saw in 2017. So, the overextension index certainly would say that the possibility of repeating it is there. The other thing I just want to quickly mention about this index, the reason that I sort of prefer this to the total market cap to Bitcoin index is because the altcoins rally at specific times. The risk values during a bear market don't matter, right? They just don't matter, because in a bear market, the altcoins aren't, they're not going to be, holding their value well. They're dropping, they're, down, some of them down 98%. So I think there's, some use in accumulating altcoins during the bear market, but in smaller percentages. because as we've showed many times, you're better off buying Bitcoin during that time because it tends to be the market mover. Okay, so this is the, the same thing we just looked at, but this is the DCA index for the altcoin to Bitcoin market. And basically you can see, what I'm saying here. I don't think the risk value in these areas matters. And that's evidenced by the fact that the risk is very low here, but that doesn't matter. You're in a bear market. The alts are going to be bleeding with respect to Bitcoin in the bear market. So you shouldn't start going wild accumulating altcoins thinking that you're getting a great deal here, because you're not, right? They're going to keep bleeding over time with respect to Bitcoin until right here in January. In January is when Bitcoin's above its 20-week moving average. You're in a confirmed bull market. Then you want to be buying the altcoins. And if this is your first time watching my videos, this is what we've been saying all along. It's one of the most important points in the crypto market. And if you don't know about it, I suggest, you go back and watch some of those videos, because, this just shows when you're above the 20-week moving average in a confirmed bull market with Bitcoin, and then you move into Ethereum and the other altcoins. Because look what we did from here, from a valuation of 25% of the Bitcoin market cap up to 1. So basically a 400% gain on Bitcoin during this time. So, and then when Bitcoin goes below the 20-week moving average, I've laid it all out a million times, guys. It's just the same thing. When Bitcoin's below that 20-week moving average, there we go, we start bleeding. Now, like I said, here we've, held our ground better than we did in the prior cycle, but we're at a critical time. You'll note here we made a high and then made a recovery and then came back down, and that's where we lost it. So we made a high, made a recovery, we've come back down. Now it's going to be critical we get above this 1.06 level, or at least hold their ground, because if this comes crashing down below, either this line or this line, if we come, definitely the second line, if we come crashing below this, that either means one of two things: the market cycle's over, or Bitcoin is going parabolic. So if you guys are interested in the DCA index models, you can head over to the Telegram channel to sign up for them there, and I'll send them out to you as quickly as possible. I don't have all of these to send out for free yet, but there's numerous other indexes that I'm sending out, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Matic, Solana, some others. So if you guys are interested in these, you can head over there. And until next time, as usual, see you.